Welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. My name is Katie Dodd, and I'm a nutrition entrepreneur. I spent 7 years as a side hustler before diving into entrepreneurship full time. Before making the leap, I was bringing in 6 figures through my side hustle. If I can do it, you can too. This podcast is for dietitians, interns, and students who want to be inspired to start or perfect the side hustle of their dreams. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the 94th episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast, 3 years of vlogging. You guys, I am so excited to record this episode because the day this is airing live, June 29th, 2022, is the 3rd birthday of my blog, The Geriatric Dietitian. I do want to add it's also my birthday. I am 39 years old today. When I created my blog 3 years ago, it was my birthday gift to myself. That was my goal. Publish this thing on your birthday, which I met that goal. And it's kind of fun that I get to celebrate the same birthday as my blog every year. And I want to take today's episode to just reflect back on 3 years of blogging, kind of walk you through why I started my blog, kind of how I got to where I am. I'm going to share some fun numbers about what the blog's accomplished over the past 3 years. And I will tell you, this blogging thing, you guys, it completely blows my mind. So why I started, I kind of fell into blogging by accident. I didn't at any point decide I want to be a blogger. I knew I wanted to make money. I knew I wanted to make impact, but I knew I did not want to work with patients. I didn't. I happened to find a Facebook group called The Unconventional RD with the lovely Erica Jolson and learned that, wow, you could actually make money blogging. I had no idea this was a thing. And, up until this point, I'd been doing a lot of writing for other people, getting paid freelance writing gigs. I'm like, wow, I could write for myself and make money. Like, this is amazing. So Erica had a course available, way back when I took this course, it looked a little bit different than what it looks like now. But the course at the time would have cost me around $300. And I just want to tell you, I didn't want to take the course because I'm like, oh, $300, that's so much money. My mindset's changed a lot if you're familiar with me and my story and what I spend on professional development now. But 3 years ago, I was like, man, that is a lot of money. I will just figure out how to do this blogging thing on my own. So the course I was wanting to take was called SEO Made Simple, and it was on sale. Steal of a deal. Like, the program has continued to evolve and is available now for more money than that. But man, I think it's still undervalued. It is worth every penny if you want to get technical SEO ninja skills. I'll add my affiliate link in the show notes. So SEO Made Simple, I was talking myself out of investing in it because at this point I didn't have the entrepreneurial mindset that I really needed. And luckily, I had an entrepreneurial friend, my good friend Lindsay McPhail, who told me, Katie, a dietitian's offering a course doing what you want to do. You need to take the course. So what I ended up doing was I signed up for this course. My son just brought me a LaCroix, and I'm going to go ahead and open it because I realize I'm quite parched. So I'm going to sip on my LaCroix while I talk. It is, watermelon LaCroix. That is tasty. I know some people, you either love LaCroix or you hate LaCroix. I love LaCroix. My favorite is coconut. So I signed up for this course, SEO Made Simple, and I learned all about search engine optimization. I had to Google, figure out how to build my blog by my birthday. The Geriatric Dietitian was live. And I think a question people often have is, why did you decide to create the Geriatric Dietitian? And the reason I decided to create this brand was because I was a geriatric dietitian. When I got out of school, I got my first job working for the Department of Veteran Affairs and was in that same job for 13 years before I left back in December. I had a little bit of variations in the different hats I wore over those years, but I generally had the same job the whole time, doing home-based primary care, working with older adults. Now, I love geriatrics. I've volunteered with the Healthy Aging Dietetic Practice Group for many, many years. I have the CSG credential, the board certified specialist in gerontological nutrition, and I also help to write the exam. So I'm pretty deep in the volunteer world of geriatric nutrition. I was deep in doing it for my job and really being an expert in the space. And I think one of the unique things about working for the Department of Veteran Affairs is that they really value dietitians. And dietitians are included at the table. In so many places outside of VA, they aren't. So in the home care program that I worked in, I had the opportunity to see every veteran within, I had to see him. I had to see him within 30 days admission to the program by the end. Rules changed over time. But I loved that I was able to see every veteran and not just ones who screened positive for malnutrition, right? I mean, unfortunately, in the real world, that's typically what happens is we wait until someone is, already malnourished or already has issues before we send them to the dietitian instead of really leaning into that prevention focus. So the fact that I had the opportunity to work with these patients before they had issues was amazing. And we can work on hey, let's talk about what good nutrition looks like to help you age well. We're able to identify, oh, wait, you're losing weight. You're probably losing muscle. Let's put a stop to that so you don't become malnourished. And I just thought, what a blessing that I get to work in this job where I get to provide care to older adult veterans in their homes. It was quite fun. But I recognized outside my bubble, this wasn't the reality for most older adults. And I also learned along the way, a lot of nutrition topics for geriatrics is different than, and it makes sense, right? Peds is different than geriatrics, is different than oncology, right? As dietitians, we learn kind of very broad. We learn all across the board, but it's really important that whatever we do, we specialize in it because, we got to go from being a generalist to a specialist if we are working in a specialist area, which I think most dietitians probably do in one way or the other. So I know I'm going round and round. I started going on a tangent there, but I saw the value of dietitians in the lives of older adults, particularly before they're malnourished. And it just made me sad that outside of VA, we really don't see this. So I started thinking about how can I use this blog I want to build to reach more older adults and change the narrative and change the conversation about how we approach nutrition for older adults. And recognizing in the ideal world, I want every older adult to be working with a dietitian. I know that's not going to happen, but how can I put some good information out on the internet to help change the conversation and provide them the information that they need, which is what I've been able to do through this blog and I'm continuing to work on because, again, it's an area I'm super passionate about. So I'm going to be mindful of time. I have a feeling this episode might be a little longer, but if I start going on tangents about my passion behind geriatric nutrition, we're going to be here a while. But I started it because I was a geriatric dietitian. I was very passionate about this topic, and I wanted to change the conversation online and help older adults get the best of their golden years. And we know that nutrition can help them do that and lots of other things, but nutrition plays a really big role. So how I started my blog. I mentioned that I took that course, SEO Made Simple, which was one of the best things I had done in a long time because it broke down that barrier of investing. Now, since then, I've continued learning SEO, business, marketing, working with business coaches. I was even reflecting back on all of the different courses that I've taken over the last 3 years. I think oftentimes when we think of education, we think of school. Okay, I want to be an entrepreneurial dietitian. Should I go back and get my MBA? I'm here to tell you, no, do not do that. If you want to make money as a dietitian, as an entrepreneur, particularly in the online space, find someone who's doing what you want to do and learn from them. I talked about this in the last episode. I just recorded it, so it's very fresh in my mind. But if you want to have success, find someone who's doing what you want to do and learn from them. You're going to learn from their successes and you're going to learn from their failures and you're going to fast track to replicating their success, right? So that is what I've continued to do on my journey where I struggled to invest $300 in this course where after that, I'm like, I'm going to take all the courses, right? and continue to learn and continue to grow. And I used to have a goal of wanting to get my doctorate by the time I was 40. I'm 39. As of the day this episode is airing, I am 39. And so my goal would have been to have my doctorate by the time I was 40. Now, once I really started diving deep into entrepreneurship, I was like, no. My doctorate is not going to serve me. It's going to take so much time away from what I love to do, away from my family. It's going to stress me out, burn me out. I'm going to leave with a lot of debt and not a penny more to my name. It is what it is. Where I realized I can invest a fraction of the cost. The amount of time I invest is going to be into my business where I'm not leaving with debt. I am paying off that investment that into the course, into the mastermind, and I'm making so much more money. So I am a huge advocate for online courses, working with business coaches. You have to find the right program for you, the right person for you. The wonderful thing about dietitian business coaches, quick shout out, there are a lot of them out there, and everyone clicks and connects with different people. And so you can find your person. They're probably out there. So highly recommend working with someone if you're really serious about like this entrepreneurship game and you really want to have success. If you're just doing something on the side, having fun, sure, that's okay. But if you're like, man, I want to go all in with entrepreneurship, invest in yourself. So after I took SEO Made Simple, I quickly took other courses offered at that time by Erica Jolson. She had one on make money blogging and email marketing magic. So I was like, I will buy all of your courses. I also took a course by Chrissy Carroll, who's an amazing full-time dietitian blogger. At the time it was, well, she doesn't offer this course anymore. It was called Pin Smart. It was really how to use Pinterest. And she stopped offering it because Pinterest got all crazy with their algorithms. And so she just shifted gears. But I took that course. I ended up taking Abby Sharp's marketing or working with brands mastermind e-course. So learning about how could I start working with brands and making money that way. I'll share with you guys in a little bit how I kind of started my journey to really invest in business coaches, but I took some courses by who is now my business coach, Business Builder, Infinite Income, Learning How to Make Money. I've taken courses through Stupid Simple SEO by Mike. One is Prolific Blogging, one is Niche Site Academy, just continuing to learn more about how can I grow and expand my knowledge in blogging in this online space. I've also taken Instagram for Nutrition Bloggers Made Easy by the wonderful Sanui Escobar, the Writing Course for Nutrition Professionals by Holly Larson, Content Creation Bootcamp. This is an SEO course by Chrissy Carroll, which is really wonderful. And I'm also involved in several membership sites where there's all kinds of courses and learning and live events and calls where I continue to learn about blogging, SEO, including Blog Aid. It's a company ran by Anna. She's a computer person who helped me transfer my website. As my website, The Geriatric Dietitian, got big, I had to switch hosts. And at that point I was making money. I'm like, I'm not a tech person. I don't want to break this. So I paid someone to do it. And she has a company called Blog Aid, and I'm part of her Blooming Bloggers Hub. And she's got some great resources, courses, monthly calls, all the things. I'm also a part of SEO Simplified Community through Off the Clock with my friends Paul and Carl. I'm also a member of Food Blogger Pro. They have a lot of really good resources for not just food blogging, but blogging in general and business. They are very, very, very smart. And then also I'm a part of Stupid Simple SEO's SEO Next Level membership. So, it started off with this one course, but I've continued to learn, and I will continue to learn because like everything in life, it's like nutrition, right? The science continues to change, and I always want to be up to date in this space because I love blogging so much. And I also teach other people to blog, so I gotta, keep my own stuff updated for them too. So that's kind of how I started it, was learning SEO and learning how to build the blog, but I've continued to learn along the way over the last 3 years. Now, 6 months into blogging, I really shifted from blogging as a hobby to blogging as a business. I shifted my mindset. This wasn't something I was just doing on the side for fun. I was like, you know what? No. I'm gonna approach this like a CEO. I'm gonna approach this like a business. And it was actually that month in January of 2021 that I started my LLC, formally, a limited liability company. And it was kind of more almost symbolic too, of like, nope, I am a business. I'm gonna treat my blog as a business. So I'm gonna file for a formal business, because up until that point, I didn't have a formal business before that point. But I also started working with a business coach, dabbling. Business coaches are very expensive. Courses, they can be from lower price to higher, more premium courses, but business coaches in general are pretty spendy. And my business coach, Greg Todd, I actually had an opportunity to work with him, and I passed it up because I was like, I don't have that money. It wasn't that I didn't have the money, it was that I wasn't ready for it. I actually was going to take another course by a dietitian that was, I think it was like $6,000 at the time. I think the price might have gone up since then. And I remember in my conversations with them, they had said, why do you think you're not going to join? Because up until that point, I was like, yeah, I'm going to join. And then I didn't. And they asked me why. And I said, it's the money. It's just too expensive. But what's interesting is a few months later, not even a few months, a few weeks later, I ended up investing very close to that amount, not quite, but close to that amount of money, working with Greg Todd, who's my business coach, which made me realize it wasn't about the money. It was that program just wasn't the best fit for me at that time. Now, it doesn't mean it wasn't an amazing program with an amazing person. And, I know dietitians who've gone through this program, and it is phenomenal, but it just wasn't the right fit for me at the time. And I know I'm getting kind of deep here, but I just kind of sharing this reflection that I had, that it wasn't about money. Because I think of becoming a dietitian. I have money to become a dietitian. I got a student loan, right? If I didn't have money to get a car, I got a car loan. Money usually is something I've come to learn. While it is valid, and there are certain situations where we really don't have the money. But for me, I recognized it wasn't about the money. That was just an excuse that I was using. It just wasn't the best fit for me. So anyways, I'm going on tangents this episode. So I wasn't quite ready to invest, but my now business coach offered a $99 program called the 2120 Healthcare Challenge in January 2022 or 2021. And so I had 2020. Oh, I don't mean to confuse you guys. I'm in 2020, January 2020. That is when I filed my LLC. That is when I signed up for the 2120 Healthcare Challenge. It was like $100, right? And that program changed everything for me. My eyes were open, my mindset radically changed, and I ended up investing in a high ticket offer called Smart Success Healthcare with my now business coach, Greg Todd. After that, I continued to take every program he offered, from one called Health EO training. He had some virtual events he did. He did a summer mastermind program, which wasn't with him. It was more with his, he had some, I don't know what you call them, kind of business coaches under him who ran the program. And then in fall of 2022, I started working with my business coach, Javier Carlin, and also Marissa Carlin in Healthcare Business Accelerator. It's still a program that I'm a part of and connected to because they are amazing. Javier helped me to create the Blogging Accelerator program, which is my business, where I help other dietitians blog. And then in January of 2021, I joined the Smart Success Healthcare Mastermind with my business coach, Greg Todd. I did 2 quarters, and then he started offering year-long masterminds. In June of 2021, I invested $30,000 in working with him for a year in his mastermind. And it terrified me. I was like, what am I doing? And I know I've shared a little bit about this in the past on the podcast, but I still like to laugh how 2 years prior to that, I was struggling to invest $300 in a course. 2 years later, I invested $30,000. And I will tell you guys, like, I was terrified of it, but I knew I had to do it, right? I knew I had to do it. It wasn't like where with the $300, my friend's like, Katie, you have to do this. With the $30,000, I knew I had to do it. It's $30,000. Now, if you know my story, it was worth every penny. I was able to pay off that money, and I 10x my investment. I made over $300,000 in that next year working with Greg, and also was able to leave my job and be more present with my family and all the amazing things that have happened since then. And I know that kind of exceeds beyond the scope of the geriatric dietitian, but this all started because I started a blog and continued to learn and develop and grow, and just really leaned into this online space and how we can make money and impact online as dietitians. So those are all the courses and masterminds and all the things that I've been a part of over the last 3 years as a result of starting my blog. So 15 months into starting the geriatric dietitian, I started my program, Blogging Accelerator program. That's when I started working with Javier. And, that has been such an amazing program for me, helping over 130 dietitians and nutrition professionals start their own blogs. And then it's just been such an amazing journey with the Blogging Accelerator program. It continues to be the main thing that I do because I'm so passionate about, oh my gosh, my journey with blogging has been so amazing. I need to help you too. Like, let me take all these things I've learned, like my successes, my failures, and help you to get there faster. I say faster, but I will tell y'all, blogging's a long-term game. So it's more what my program does. It does help you get there faster because it helps you not to give up. It helps you to maintain the motivation to reach the other side to where you have a successful blog where you are making money, because it can be very challenging, but it is a wonderful, lovely community. I'm not here to talk about Blogging Accelerator program today, but love the program. If you ever want to chat about it, you can reach out to me, and love this program. So 17 months into my blog, I qualified for Mediavine. I've recorded episodes on that in the past, and Mediavine is a high-end ad network, and that's where the game really changed, and I started making some good money through the blog. And then 24 months after starting the geriatric dietitian, I started my food blog, High Calorie Recipes, which Right now it's about 28,000 sessions per month, so it's doing pretty darn good. I haven't had a lot of time to dedicate to it, but it's doing pretty good for what it is. And I'm really excited about that resource because it was something I actually wanted to create very soon after I started the geriatric dietitian. But I'm a big fan of one thing at a time. I had to wait till I was making money, good money with the geriatric dietitian to create another blog, because I knew if I tried to do lots of things at once, I would do lots of things not so good. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do one thing good, then I'll hop ship, right? So, and then last month, we're going through the timeline of the last 3 years. Last month, I was able to hire a nutrition blog manager, and this is a fellow dietitian who is now managing my blog for me. What that means is she is keeping my blog updated. She is doing this is behind the scenes stuff, but like keyword research and tracking my blogs and all the things. She is taking articles that are written by volunteers and interns and getting them edited and published. She's writing for my blog. So really, I'm at the point now where I am really hands off in managing the geriatric dietitian. I will say I will see myself continuing to go back in and dabble just because I love blogging and I love writing, and there's these topics that I'm so passionate about. But at this point, I am 100% hands-off with my blog, The Geriatric Dietitian, truly making it a source of passive income. Now, over time, when I first started, because people always ask about time, when I first started the blog, I was working about 5 to 7 hours per week. Some weeks less. I would say that was max, right? Now, over time, as I started making money, I was able to pay other people to write for me. And I got to the point where I was maybe working like 5 to 7 hours a month in the blog. And then now I'm at the point where I don't have to work any time at all on my blog. So it's this thing where in the beginning you're working, but not making money. Over time, you are working less and making more. And that is the goal. And that actually is going back to Blogging Accelerator program. That is really the journey I'm taking dietitians on to reach that shift point. I call it the blog boss. So you go from, being someone who wants to blog to being a blogger to being a blog employee where you're still working for the blog to where you are the blog boss and you truly have these sources of passive income where you're just making money without exclusively trading your time or doing the work. So, and the wonderful thing about this passive income in this blog is that as long as it is maintained, it will continue to make money month after month. So let's talk some numbers. I went and pulled some information. I will tell you, I am recording this episode on June 18th, 2022. So about 11 days before the official anniversary, but I could tell you the numbers as of today for the blog. So I went back and looked at how many articles have been written on the Geriatric Dietitian blog over the past 3 years. It's been 135 articles, 135 articles out there in the world that I'm very, very proud of. Now, did I write all of those articles? No, I did not. There have been 40 authors on the Geriatric Dietitian blog. These authors include interns from Oregon Health Sciences University, Larkin Internship, KBDI, Keith and Associates, Rutgers, EMU, volunteers, grad students, and dietitians. I did not get here on my own. I've had the opportunity to work with so many amazing students and dietitians for which I am so grateful. And even having the opportunity to pay other dietitians to write for my blog has been such a blessing, because I remember back in the day when I would get freelance writing gigs and how exciting that would feel. And I love being able to pay it forward and offer that to other dietitians. So I also looked at my page views, like how many people have actually been to the website over the past 3 years. Make sure I say this number right. It's a big one. I've had 2,657,937 page views in the past 3 years. 2.6 million, you guys. I just, when I pulled that number, I just couldn't even wrap my head around it. I never thought as a dietitian I would ever reach that many people. And I wouldn't have, right? If I stayed in the clinic, no way would I've ever gotten close to that number. But by blogging, I've been able to reach over 2.6 million people. Holy cow, that is bananas. Let's talk money. Let's talk passive income. Now, passive income, I pulled these numbers, recognizing I don't have the exact numbers right now, but pretty darn close. But looking at how much passive income, and that is the money that my website makes through ad revenue, selling digital goods, selling ebooks, a course, and affiliate sales. And I will share with you guys, though, my website is 3 years old. it took me about half that time before I really started making that money. So I didn't really track the money in the first year. There was some, it just wasn't a ton. So this is really looking at the past, I'd say, year and a half of passive income through the blog. So in that time, my blog has made $65,822 in passive income. And I like translating the concept of like, well, actually, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to get in the weeds with math. I'm just going to keep moving because I'm looking at the time like, oh, I like to keep these episodes short. So the website has made almost $66,000 in passive income over the past 3 years, keeping in mind that really has been in the last 3.5 years. Right now, the blog is consistently making around $4,000 every single month in passive income. And again, that is money that is going to continue to come in month after month, year after year. And my goal is to continue the traffic. I'll share my goal, my big goal next. But it's just so interesting because I think about how I didn't want to invest that $300 to learn how to blog way back when, right? And look at all that money I would have left on the table. $300 for 65K and counting. So anyways, what is next for the geriatric dietitian? I will tell you guys my big audacious goal, because you guys know I love big audacious goals. My goal is to have 1 million visitors every month to the blog. I would say I'm around 100,000. If you're in the blogging game, you know about this, but there's always ups and downs with different topics you write about. Different seasons, more people are searching from them, and then other seasons, less people are searching for that topic. You're constantly competing for ranking on the top of keywords. So sometimes you'll be high, sometimes you'll be low. Sometimes Google has an algorithm update and your traffic will drop. Sometimes it will skyrocket. So it's one of these up and down things. And I think that's with everything in life and business. And so really the goal is just focusing on what we can control and recognizing there are ups and downs, but you just keep going. So my website, while traffic has gone up and down over time, at this time, it's around 100,000 visitors per month. But my goal is to have 1 million visitors per month. And that is something I'm actively working on doing by hiring people and continuing to build this brand, because I want more people to learn about these topics related to geriatric nutrition that I am just so passionate about. So there you guys have it. 3 years of blogging. I look back at how much I've learned, how much I've grown. And, my journey has gone not just from blogging, but from teaching other people to blog and, becoming a dietitian business coach. And it's been such an incredible journey. One that, had you asked me 3 years ago when I published this blog, what would my life look like 3 years from now? I wouldn't have believed you if you told me. I remember actually I was in Illinois for a healthy aging dietetic practice group meeting. It was I think it was the beginning of July or maybe end of June, something like that. It must have been beginning of July because we went around and we're sharing updates. And I remember sharing, I started a blog. I was so excited. I started a website, and people are like, what's that mean? I'm like, I'm not sure yet. and like I said, here we are 3 years later. I am a full-time entrepreneur, more present with my kids, more present with my family. My mindset has radically changed. My belief in myself, my confidence, my self-worth. There's so much within me that has changed on this entrepreneurial journey. And I just think back to this baby blog I started 3 years ago, and I didn't see this coming, but I'm so grateful to be here. So I can't wait to continue to share with you guys how the Geriatric Dietitian blog continues to grow. But I appreciate each and every one of you for being around for the journey. And yeah, if you want to learn more about how we can work together, go ahead and visit www.katiedodd.com. You can learn about my freebies and other ways we can work together. And thanks so much for listening. Bye, guys.